inside and continent touch. Verstappen is out of the race.
That's what you get when you don't leave the space. Yeah.
He wasn't very fair there, so it's
what can I say? You know how it is with Max, so.
Max Verstappen didn't just challenge Hamilton, he broke him. He pushed him to the hospital. He made Mercedes panic. He turned the mighty Lewis Hamilton into someone who had to look over his shoulder every single race. And here's the crazy part. Max did it with a smile on his face.
Forward now about that procedure at the end. Red Bull played every card they could because they hadn't got enough speed, they hadn't got track position, they played it really smart. Mercedes
in pieces and tears of joy at Red Bull Racing.
Remember in 1989 when Arsenal went to Anfield needing a 2-0 win?
Hang on through the rest of it, no DRS available for 2 laps after a safety car, so it's a straight fight down the...
Oh, I'm just speechless, Lewis. Absolutely speechless.
Bono is speechless.
Ari is also on the podium. Yuki Tsunoda 4th, so 4th and 5th for AlphaTauri. Wow.
Yeah, Perez pitted, retired from the race. Sainz said, thank you, I'll have a podium. Down to you, Ted.
Today, I'm showing you the real story of how Max Verstappen became the most dangerous driver in Formula One history, why even Lewis Hamilton fears him, and why their rivalry almost turned deadly multiple times. This is the untold story of 2 warriors, but only one alpha predator. Let's get into it.
I don't think Lewis could have done anything about that at all.
Jenson Button is down in Parc Ferme as Lewis Hamilton comes to embrace Max Verstappen and say, well done.
The moment Hamilton realised he had a problem, Bahrain 2018. Max Verstappen is just 20 years old. Lewis Hamilton is the established king, cruising to another championship. And then it happened. Lap 2. Max sees a gap. Not even a gap, really. More like a suggestion of space. And he sends it. Dive bombs Hamilton so aggressively that even his own team was probably screaming, no, 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 no. Boom. Contact. Max's tyre shreds. Race over.
he wasn't very fair there, so it's
Most drivers would apologise, learn their lesson, show some respect to the 7-time champion. Max, he called Lewis stupid on the radio to the world. That was the declaration of war. That was the moment Hamilton realised, this kid doesn't care who I am. But here's where it gets insane. 3 years later, same track, same 2 warriors. Except this time, Max absolutely destroys Hamilton, takes pole by 4/10, leads the entire race, and when Lewis tries the undercut, Max doesn't even flinch. Not today, Lewis, not ever again.
Lewis Hamilton getting squeezed onto the grass, and that's cost him a bit, and he's alongside Max Verstappen. Verstappen on the inside, and Hamilton is forced a little bit wide, and they're all getting into contact with each other. Hamilton and Verstappen are on the grass.
The hunter had become the hunted, and Lewis, he knew it. Silverstone, 2021. The crash that changed everything.
Looks like it's going to go the way of Max Verstappen. Mercedes not happy. Red Bull will be delighted.
51 Gs of force. Max's Red Bull flies into the barrier like a missile. The world goes silent. Is he alive? Lewis wins the race, celebrates like nothing happened. And Max, he's in the hospital getting checked for injuries. But here's what nobody talks about. Max blamed Lewis, but he never said he'd race differently. Even after almost dying, Max's message was clear. I'd do it again. That's not bravery. That's not confidence. That's something else entirely. That's a warrior who literally doesn't fear death. And it scared Lewis. You could see it in his eyes. The day Max's tyre landed on Hamilton's head, September 12th, 2021. Monza, Italy. The Temple of Speed. If Silverstone was a warning shot, Monza was an assassination attempt. Lap 26. Lewis exits the pits. Max is right there, wheel to wheel. Into the first chicane they go, and nobody is backing down. Max hits the sausage curb, his car launches, 3 feet in the air, and lands directly on top of Hamilton's Mercedes. Max's rear tyre rolling over Lewis's head. Only the halo cockpit protection saves Lewis's life. Let that sink in. Max Verstappen's car was on top of Lewis Hamilton's head. And you know what Max did? He climbed out, glanced at Lewis trapped underneath, and walked away. No, are you okay? No concern. Just pure cold warrior mentality. Mercedes boss Toto Wolff went ballistic, called it a tactical foul, said Max would rather crash than lose. And he was right. Max would literally rather end both their races than finish behind Hamilton. That's not racing. That's psychological warfare at 200 miles per hour. Here's what makes Max truly terrifying. Hamilton tried everything to break him, and nothing worked. Brazil 2021. Lewis gets disqualified from qualifying, starts P20 in the sprint race, puts on the greatest comeback drive of his career, P5 in the sprint, P10 in the main race after penalties. He's driving like a man possessed, passes Max on track, wins the race, waves the Brazilian flag. Perfect weekend, right? But Max, he never cracked. Not even a little. In fact, he pushed Lewis off the track during that battle, forced him wide, and when the stewards said let them race, Max learned the lesson. I can push even harder. Saudi Arabia 2021. These two collided. Again. Max brake-checked Lewis on the main straight. They crashed. For the third time that season, 3 crashes. 3 in one season, with the championship on the line. And through it all, Max never blinked, never apologised, never backed down. Hamilton, the ice-cold 7-time champion who's broken every rival from Rosberg to Vettel, he couldn't break Max Verstappen. Abu Dhabi 2021, the most controversial finish in F1 history. December 12, 2021, Abu Dhabi, the final race. Hamilton and Verstappen tied on points. This is it. Winner takes all. The entire season comes down to 58 laps. Lewis dominates, pulls away. With 5 laps to go, he's cruising to his 8th World Championship. The race is over. Max has lost. And then Nicholas Latifi crashes. Safety car. Max pits for fresh tyres. Lewis stays out on old rubber. 1 lap restart. The entire F1 world is screaming. This is insane. This shouldn't be happening. Lights go green. Final lap. Last corner. Max dives inside. Fresh softs versus dead hards. Hamilton can't fight back. Max Verstappen crosses the line. World champion. Lewis sits in his car. Helmet on, not moving. His dad has to come get him. The dream of 8 championships, stolen in 1 lap. But here's the real story nobody talks about. Even when it looked impossible, even when Hamilton had won, even when the race was over, Max was ready. He didn't give up. He didn't accept defeat. And when the moment came, he struck like a viper. That's the difference between a champion and a warrior. Why Max might be greater than Hamilton? Let's be real. Lewis Hamilton has 7 championships. More wins, more poles, more records. But here's my argument. Max Verstappen has something Hamilton lost along the way. Fear. Lewis became calculated, strategic. He played the long game, the smart game, the safe game. Max, he plays the only game he knows, all-out attack. Hungary 2024 proved it. 3 years after their war ended, these two went wheel-to-wheel again. Max locked up, made contact, and forced Lewis off the track. No penalties, no regrets. At 26 years old, Max has already ended Mercedes' dominance, made Lewis Hamilton look vulnerable, won multiple championships, set records for consecutive wins, forced other drivers to change how they race. Hamilton is the greatest of his era. But Max is building something different. A legacy written in fear, aggression, and absolute dominance. Lewis Hamilton is a legend. 7 championships, 105 wins. The stats say he's the greatest. But Max Verstappen did something even more impressive. He broke Lewis Hamilton. He pushed him off track. Lewis versus Max isn't over, not even close. And when they go wheel to wheel again, you'll want to be here for it.